Yeah, she just
Sorry, I wanted to get your song.
uh, just suddenly pied. I wrote this song. I'll do it real fast, man. I wrote this song for a friend of mine who died of a drug overdose, and it's a sad deal because I'd just written a song a few years earlier for her daughter who died of leukemia at age 5, and she never got over her daughter's death, and she turned to drugs and ended up dying. But I was singing this song for Christina because man, she would always, for Thanksgiving, around my house, we never cooked much Thanksgiving. We enjoyed it and everything, but she always made it a point to bring over plates when their mom cooked, and always stopped by and always brought food over. And her friend was actually my first girlfriend when I was 14. So it's kind of sucks. This song is called Cry Another Tear for You. With desperation called you to the other side. You let that pain control you till you ran out of time. It's just another heartache. It's just another day. What do you do to make it just go away? I'll cry another tear for you, because I remember for your love, the times that we had, the times that we had, the good and the bad. I remember you for your love. Some called you an addict, some said you're out of touch, but they'll never know what that's like to love a child that much. It's just another heartache, it's just another day. What do you do to make it just go away? I'll cry another tear for you, because I remember you for your love. The times that we had, the good and the bad. And I remember you for your love. Such a kind heart, gone to waste. She always gave more than she would take. So I'll cry another tear for you, because I remember you for your love. The times that we had, the good and the bad. And I remember you for your love. That goes out to Christina.
Salud, brother. So, how, in honor of Christina, are you going to go out and give more than you take today?
I've already sent condolences to her family and husband, among other things. And I'll use her kindness and her selflessness, and she was one of the most kind, selfless people I've ever met. And I use that as an example for me to be kind and selfless to people.
So, every time you have a choice at that moment, you can think of her to choose that kindness.
Yeah,
If you
exactly.
are not, yeah. That was the reason why I asked that particular question, because you said that she was very generous. So, that question.
Very, extremely so. One of the kindest people I ever met. Just
Thank
loved
you for
every.
thank you for sharing that in this song, brother. Appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Your words mean something.
Sorry, John, for your friend passing away. My condolences to you.
Thank you.
Reflect the light she was. All right, how you doing there, Sarah? How you doing, Sophia? How you doing,
Good, good.
John?
Good.
You guys have
Good.
anything in beautiful come up this past week, or the complete opposite side of it, not so beautiful?
Well, my class was pretty cool yesterday, right? And Sarah Jean added like a new dimension to it. So
Awesome.
wanted to thank Sarah Jean. She's awesome.
I love you guys a lot.
Yeah. And I guess I'm going through something like, I don't know if you guys do a check-in, but
Let's do it.
so energetic boundaries, or even not even just energetic, but regular boundaries. So like in my business now, I just got a male client, and so he's starting to like text me on Facebook a lot. And anyway, so I know we had a nice conversation and all that, which is cool because he's in the truth movement, and a lot of stuff we were talking about, we're like, oh yeah, me too. I know that too. And I know that too, because he's ex-military, and I've done a lot of research and, gone down the rabbit hole with a lot of stuff. So I kind of knew a lot of stuff he was talking about, and he didn't really realize that I knew a lot of stuff that he knew and all that. So it was a cool conversation. And then he never had Reiki before, so I explained everything to him and all that. And then he, and he likes the session. Now he wants to come every week. And now he's texting me, like, even in the middle of the night, like I can't sleep, like just texting me. And I'm just saying, well, I'm really busy, kind of thing. Like I'm just, because I've been busy. I've been really busy. So I talked to my girlfriend last night about it, and she's just like, you probably have to put a clause in there that talks about like texting only pertaining to the sessions or any concerns you may have, about your, what your body, or any ailments you might have or any concerns. So I might have to put it in there in my new release form. And so it's just like, learning experience, because I'm not knowing what to do and how to handle this situation right now. I kind of know, I've been kind of like saying that I'm just really, I feel like I'm just have barely any time to gasp for air lately. So I'm just like, but at the same token, if I was to do that with every client, there'd be no self-care, right? There'd be nothing. I don't know.
Turn your phone off.
No balance.
Turn your phone off.
Yeah.
Come back later.
I didn't respond, and he has a session on Friday, and then I'm a little, I get a little concerned, like, I even brought up knife with me, like, I don't know, like, like you just never know, like he's a big strong man, I don't know, I'm in the treatment room by myself with him, and but luckily there was some stuff going on, and some ladies who are in the next room over, which I told him, well, there was too much noise, maybe you come an hour earlier next time, but now I think I'm going to postpone it to where he's there when they're there. Because I don't know, like, it's just one of these things where I'm not sure what to do with this situation, but because I don't know him. But I'm getting not a bad vibe from him. It just, I have to kind of like create a boundary in a nice way, which I don't know. I did invite him to the vision, the ALL, I told him get Zoom, like I told him about earth waking. And that's my fine line, is like, to what point do I want to like be friendly with people, women and men, and invite them into this world I'm in, the new world. But at the same token, how do I create that boundary? Because I even had to block another guy on Facebook that I met some months ago, and he started calling me babe and hun. And I told him I don't like pet names, like we're not a couple. And then he kept doing it, and I blocked him. So I'm just having this little bit of a kind of like dilemma here. But I mean, it's not a dilemma. I know what to do. It just haven't been in this situation in a long time. So.
And it's also a transition time period. I mean, because there is a shift in that old mentality to the new mentality are these people coming from ego? You want to be there supportive of them, and uh, you don't want them crossing those boundaries. So creating and maintaining those boundaries are pretty big. I do see like how the village, and this is something that I've just within the last 2 days have been conscious of and aware of, is that I do want to use like the village and the virtual village and ALL basically as a filter for me for people that I'm connecting with in that personal space. Like that's like my personal filter now, and I I've been just having like internal conversations about it, and I'm pretty sure that's where I am with it at this moment in time. Is that that's moving forward, the people that I'm going to talk to and connect with are people that are going through the visionary or something, along those lines.
Right. And I
Um,
also want to mention is the authenticity part, because maybe in the past I used to lie. I used to say I have a boyfriend, or whatever. Like, so my girlfriend last night, like, just tell him you have a boyfriend. I'm like, but I want to be authentic. So, do you know what I mean? Like, how do you say, well, I don't want to go back to the old me that used to lie and say I have a boyfriend, you know?
just be honest. Just be honest, man.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do, and just be honest. Say, hey, look, I'm not sure where it's going right now. Be polite and be respectful, and be honest. That's honesty is the best policy. Just here's this is what it is, and I think most men respect that as long as you're honest with them.
Right.
May
Yeah.
I?
Go ahead.
So, a big thing in my awareness right now is taking responsibility for everything that's happening inside of my reality. And let's put it this way, would somebody be contacting Kirk that way? No, right?
Right.
So, where is it in your energy field that you're drawing in and attracting these people? So you have a judgment or you have something that's going on within you that you've got to clear out, because it's an energetic tie and an energetic bind. And you used a couple of different words, like that you were scared. One, you brought a knife to a
Yeah.
Reiki session. That is
I
not
know.
that's not in congruency with healing, you know?
I
So
know. I know.
I
I've done
just
it with
wanted to
Lyft
make you aware of
too.
that one.
I've done it when I've driven for Lyft, because
Yeah,
there is
so
a
you're
little.
having a past experience being brought up within that, and you're going to recreate it because of the energetic tie that you have with men. So you have to clean up your energy field.
Is that
And
cutting the
I'm
cords?
saying that also for me.
Is that
And
cutting? Is
me,
that cutting the
maybe
cords?
not with men.
I need to figure out how to do that in a better way. But I get what you're saying, because I went through the breakthrough class for a long time, and I know what you're saying. It rings true. But I'm wondering
Yeah,
if
and
it's
I wanted them to
possibilities.
change. Like I wanted them to be the one who created my boundary or like honored my boundary, and I don't have to say shit. I don't have to say anything now. Like what I'm recognizing now is that all I have to do is ask spirit and it shows up. Like, and it's kind of weird, but also really beautiful, because a lot of things are now falling away because I made clear boundaries with myself. And now it's like, whoa, where is this? Why is this happening? And I'm like, oh, I asked that question and I was like, can you please make this go away? And now people's things are happening. And I'm like, all right, block. All right, nope. I'm not handling that in my reality anymore. Thank you for the lesson. Thank you for the blessing. Going inside, getting rid of the judgment and giving their energy back.
Right, right. I think it could
So
be a
I'm
little
not
bit.
carrying it. Yeah. It's really big right now. It's powerful stuff.
That's awesome. I
Yeah.
think
Sarah,
there could be some. Go ahead. What?
I was just gonna say Sarah looks like Emperor Palpatine from Star Wars.
Boo, boo, boo.
Come to the dark side.
No.
Um, I was going to also say what's coming to me is there could be a little residue energy, because when I was a lot younger, I used to have these irrational fears, right? So I would, and it was my, let's just say the irrational fear was I would Because my dad, he, huh?
Your audio cut out for a second.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
My dad was in law enforcement. So when I was little, he used to always kind of put fear into me, like, or say things that would make me have fear, like, oh, if you do this, you never know, like there could be a man, who wants to kidnap you, or, just stuff like that, like beware of this. And he'd show me articles of like this man had a knife and he stabbed his lover like how many times, and maybe because he was in the world of law enforcement, he was always trying to protect me and say all these things to me. And I think that like it was programmed into me, like, and I guess I got this fear of I could run into a psycho killer, So I used to come into my apartment, and this is in New York, right? This is like in Yonkers, New York, and it was right on the border of the Bronx. So, and I lived on this dark street. It was like the only apartment building on the street. And I used to come in, and I used to look under my bed, look behind the shower curtain, and I had this big fear of that. Yeah. And so when I read like these books that helped me with my spiritual journey and help clear, I don't know how much it cleared it, but Many Lives, Many Masters helped me a lot with that, like the book Many Lives, Many Masters. And so I feel like I got better at, or not to say better, but I feel like it dissipated a bit. It lightened up that fear, but I don't think it completely went away, because then I attracted these men in my life that had these psychotic tendencies. So and I'm thinking, I don't know if it's a past life thing but I feel like there's little residue probably from it, because I'm just kind of seeing that now, like as you're talking to me about it. So
I think we all have, I'll get to you in 1 second, John. I think we all have that residue. I mean, anybody that watches TV has that programming of fear and or any sort of news from Facebook, whatever. So that and when you fear it, you're going to create it, You're going to create that psychopath right. Coming into your life.
Right. I won't take the knife. That's all I'll do. I just won't take the knife. And I'll cut the cords. I'll cut the cords with the knife, and then I'll just leave it home.
And that's actually even, I feel like, putting poison within your healing work itself, because you're putting fear within that too. So it's not even a complete healing journey. It may be actually opposite or a negative experience in the energetical sense, because it has that underlying toxicity of fear,
Why, like, I wouldn't bring it to a session with a woman. You know what I mean? I don't fear women. I don't fear psychopath women, which there could be.
Is the environment safe? Like, are you in a designated area for that? Do you have other people around? Do you have other?
Usually not. Usually it's just the one room, and downstairs is just all me. In the one room, there's a big, like a ballroom kind of thing, and a bathroom.
Do you have cameras? Do you have anything that you can set up?
It's a good idea. I'm gonna talk
or
to
have like somebody with you, or you know what I mean? Because you have to trust yourself. So it's putting trust in yourself, becoming trust that you're the trustworthy person and that you're building that. So when they step in that, they're completely trusting you. And that opens it up. Like you have to become what it is that you're seeking. And if you're thinking that it's going to come from him, that's only, you're going to get the fear. And that's only if he's not self-controlled. So you'll bring it out. Like you'll grab a perpetrator and ask me how I know, because I'm one of those. Okay. So I'm working on that, and I'm now clearly seeing it and becoming aware of it. I'm going straight for it. It's like massive breakthroughs right now for me.
Awesome. I would love to touch on those at some point in time, Sarah, maybe today. If not, maybe another time we can get together. Thank you, John. I didn't know if you had something else to add on what Sophia was saying.
I mean, just keep it realistic. Yeah, maybe he's a psychopath, but chances are he's probably not. Chances are he probably just doesn't have any game and is awkward and doesn't know how to act around women, And I can tell you, being an ex-cop, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of bad people out there, but there's a lot of good people out there that just don't have any social skills too. So, keep that in mind. Keep yourself, like Sarah said, keep yourself in a safe place. If it's business, you can do Zoom. If it's a first date, don't have them pick you up. Meet them somewhere at a restaurant. Get to know them. You know, build that comfort level to where you understand what kind of person they actually are, and not the first impression. You know, it takes a while to get to know somebody who they really are. You know, so just I feel comfortable, you can be safe, that not every guy out there is trying to kill you. You know, just be aware of your surroundings, but also don't be paranoid.
Right. Well, I'm
Or you could
more,
do the Reiki session in the restaurant on top of
yeah, right.
Hey,
No,
then
it's
you
just,
have the potential for more clients too. You're just commercializing it there now.
right.
Thank you.
No, well, I'm just mainly concerned about the clients, like right now. I'm not interested in really dating, so.
Yeah.
That
It's
was
the thing that
another way of,
it's the thing too, like seeking out the gold within someone. If you're seeking out what you're worried or concerned about, you're drawing and pulling that energy to come out. So if you're trying to look and seek for the gold, because let's face it, you're actually never, ever, ever going to know someone else. It's very hard for us to understand who we are as a person, let alone anyone else. So the journey is actually discovering who we are and what we're doing with our energy and what our behaviors are in every single moment. And the more that you're aware of that, that's when you're actually doing the work. So get straight to the fear, get straight to the judgment, and clear it out. And
Right.
that's what's been the best thing for me. Because a lot of it was for me was trying to seek boundaries and try to demand or command that space, and that didn't work. And I was like, it doesn't. And it's like, no, I know my boundaries and I know who I am, and I don't even need to tell you because my energy is just going to do it.
Right.
But
I
that's the
agree.
discovery. Like I just didn't know who I was. So now discovering it, now it's like, oh, now there's even deeper layers to it. There's even more of a becoming with those things as well. So I'm giving myself a lot of grace, especially with the transformations that have happened. I'm like, right now, they're really powerful right now. So I'm just like, whoa, I didn't even get triggered with that. And I'm actually really grateful and forgiving of what's happening in this circumstance. And normally I'd be like super triggered or pissed off, and I'm not. I'm like, whoa. So it's been really eye-opening for me. Less scared, no more like no, not a lot of fear at all anymore. It's like I'm becoming fearless almost. So I really like it.
That,
Okay,
yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
to speak to your, and Sarah speaking to Sophia's, the energy aspect of it. I like that's another thing going from the new earth world and old world, is that a lot of people don't have that energetical, like, I mean, subconsciously, but not awareness in the old world. And this was
No.
kind of what I was speaking to last week, like that, I feel energy, and I've never really felt comfortable speaking that to others because the awareness of that hasn't really been, I haven't been in the environment or around people or have had people around me that understand that aspect to speak to it. So that's because I have personally am stepping from the old world into the new world, and now that I'm have people around to speak that, you all included, but to be able to I guess depend on somebody from the old world to be able to recognize this energy that you don't want anything to do with it. So I do feel like it does need to be spoken of,
Yeah.
um, especially in the transition going from old to new, way of living. And one thing, like, I think you could go towards, Sophia, would be that you are in a relationship with yourself and you're concentrating on that at this moment in time, and you're
Yeah.
working with yourself in your business, which is and that's the exact space that I've taken recently, is that, so this past week what happened was, I had Melissa's mom, I had Christy, and then I had a girl that I had hooked up with in the middle of me and Melissa's relationship, all sitting at the breakfast table here this past Friday. So that's been my last like 4 days, is going through all that. And it was beautiful. Like, that's what can happen when love is actually present. Like, all that stuff can happen. In doing so, like, everybody's wondering, like, who am I picking and stuff like that. And it's like, I'm fucking picking myself. Like, right now, I need to concentrate on myself more now than ever, because of this swirl that has been created from me, you know, like, having an unawareness to what divine relationships are and what really entails in that. And that goes back to programming, not having that. I rebelled church and, you know, that aspect of stuff. So I didn't get that awareness from there. And actually, looking back, it's beautiful that I didn't, because that would have just been another program too. I was able to go out and experience all this stuff and come up to my own conclusion through my experiences and awareness, and looking at other people's, you know, other observing other relationships. But it now comes back to being selflessly selfish and concentrating on my path, like, and knowing that by me standing in the lighthouse that I am, that at some point in time that person will come find me. I'm not going to go out seek. And this is the visionary leadership program, is that we stand in our light, continue in our path, in our direction, doing our stuff, and we don't go out searching. That's where this is tricky, because you're going out looking for business now and making yourself susceptible to that. So where is that? How do you create those boundaries in that space? I think speaking to it directly is a good start, saying that that's your concentration, is myself and this. I feel like there's other subtleties to that that can make that even more defined for somebody that, you know, may not be walking in the same direction and trying to use it as something that it's not intended for. Thank you for letting me share that. It's been a lot of energy going on around here.
Awesome.
That was huge. I just want to acknowledge you too on that whole piece about where you said that the energy shift, right? When somebody is not acknowledging it or accepting it, right? Didn't you say something along those lines about reading the energy or not reading it, or knowing or not knowing? That's the whole space of that, is when you come out into a different level of consciousness. Some of it, I felt like I was unsafe, right? And it was like, nope, now I have to dim my light again. And it was either to like make people know that I'm stepping out, or that I don't feel safe, right? And it was like either or was still bringing me right back down into the lower conscious vibrations. And now feeling that safety, feeling support, feeling that energy within myself, and I don't need anything on the outside to make me feel that way. That is when it completely shifted for me. Was that no longer nothing could happen. Even if they were to take this body, I still feel safe now within myself of what might happen with me when I go. That was the biggest thing. And I feel like I wasn't even in fear of dying. I was in fear of living. And that awareness like blew my mind. And I was like, okay, I'm now going to fully live, whether it is to take my body or not. Like, I want to finally live. So feeling that safety and that support of I've got me has been the biggest a wake-up call for me.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. It's like I'm witnessing your transformation, and Stephen's too, and John's.
Yeah, it's like miracles. Like, right, I've been watching it now with Sandy. I saw it with Sandy. I'm seeing it with everyone now. And what's crazy is that every time that I even make a shift or that I share, someone else goes through it too.
Right.
And it's like, whoa, that's magic right there.
It's not just one person. I mean, it's
yeah. It's everyone.
It's
like-
everyone there. Those people's ripple effect from who they may speak to, and that ends up turning into millions and billions of people from that one share. Really, in this eternal space.
Yeah.
Right. I was gonna say thank you guys for being my reminder, because I wasn't gonna bring the knife, but it was like my old self or ego, whatever, was like, because I know I also felt my daughter was like worried about me too, because she went through the trauma with my ex-husband and all that stuff too. So, because I know there's trauma there. So anyway, so I think I wasn't going to bring it, but then I did. It was like the old self, the ego, like, okay.
Mhm.
But now looking at it, it's like, no, I'm not going to bring it. Like, I don't need.
I mean, what?
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a security blanket for you anyway. He's a big, strong dude. I mean, are you ready to use the knife?
Right.
You ready? You ready to kill somebody, or you just got it there so you
I don't
feel
want to
safe?
kill anybody.
You know,
And when you go on a battlefield,
Yeah.
the person
No.
that wins the war sits down. They don't fight. They don't bring guns. They're the one that's sitting down in peace.
Are you talking about Gandhi, right? Yeah,
I'm not doing
Gandhi.
anything. You can do whatever you want, but
Yeah.
they're
I
not
thought-
going to kill somebody that doesn't even want to fight back, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that movie. I think we were talking about that in one of the classes, right? It's just, yeah. And I also wanted to say that that what Stephen was saying, I actually was getting prepared to tell him that, like this Friday or whenever I see him, it's like, I'm just really, I don't mind talking a little bit, before the session or whatever, but I'm just really focusing on myself right now. And I really just don't have the time to spend extra time with clients. Like, and that's really what I was going to say, like in a nutshell, but, so yeah. And then but I'm also in the same boat. Like, I feel like I don't want to force things in my life, as far as a relationship, like I used to before, like I used to chase, I used to force, and now it's like, no, just let it happen organically, let it happen naturally. And, it's all in divine timing. It's going to happen when it's supposed to happen. And in the meantime, I'm enjoying my own journey, loving myself,
Mm-hmm.
so.
Nice.
Speaking of which, I'm not going to do the selflessly selfish masterclass tonight, as
The Kingmakers classes.
yeah, Mel's
tonight.
going. Mel's got her Kingmaker class, so we'll be watching that. So
Kingmaker,
Awesome.
what? Oh, okay. That's
the
awesome.
Kingmaker masterclass, it's based off of, maybe you have, but it's about women standing in their power, creating their kings in front of there, and I know
A
there's a lot.
step-by-step guide for queens to, help
would-
their kings. Men can go to it too, but it's directed at women taking on their full divinity as feminines.
Right.
Yeah. I really, really appreciate that, because I'm ready to step into that as well.
So is it going to be, are you not doing it every week, Stephen?
I'm not. I may end up shifting times. It depends on. I'm going to reconvene with Mel tomorrow and see what her plans are for next week. I think she's trying to just record it and keep it, but it depends on how it flows for her tonight, if she will be able to do that or not. So
Right. And also,
I'll know as of tomorrow if it's going on next week as well.
and also too, did you want to let John know? I don't know if John knows that you renamed the group, the creators.
I don't know if he was in that group. I think it was just us and maybe Melissa or somebody else, but I will. I'll
Meaning today's group-
send you a group invite, John, to the creators group.
okay.
Like today
And-
is the creators group, right? Are we calling it? Is that what you're calling it? The creators group?
I don't
Or
know.
the creators? It's not lyrics and lunch anymore?
No, but it's lyrics and lunch, but
Oh.
it's based off from the creators group.
Oh.
So then
Okay.
the idea will be that we're creating a collective of conscious, creation, with music, with Reiki healing stuff, with the greatness I see in you and that kind, Sarah's master classes
Hateful to
and
grateful.
happily ever laughter.
Right.
So
Which I want
I obviously I didn't, other than researching that stuff the other like right after we got done with that, I haven't had any time to dive into that anymore.
I sent you and Sarah the funny video that I thought
Yeah,
was like
Woody, the
Woody. Yeah.
ventriloquist.
Did you watch it?
Yes, I did. I watched it.
Just like, to kind of just like spark some ideas from it or something. But it's a cute. I used to watch him all the time and he used to make me laugh, like that hard belly laugh,
Mm.
the Jamie Kennedy experiment. So I don't know, but it's just food for thought. But I also wanted to say the happily ever laughter. That going to be down the road? Because I don't know what we're like really doing with that. Because I'm
Yeah,
like overextended right now.
I find that like every 2 months I get knocked off my horse here in some capacity. Like there's something that ends up happening and there's like a major, like a 2 or 3 day recovery integration of all the energies from breakthroughs. And it's not always necessarily mine, but it just seems like that's kind of the flow. My point being is that that's kind of what this past week has been. So and like yesterday, I wasn't able to make your master class because I had a bunch of work around the village to catch up on. So because of being at the table for 8 hours, 2 or 3 days straight, it puts you behind.
That's
Yeah.
true.
And you're down in the village, man, where you got stuff to do. I found myself getting through, and I'll just be honest, I found myself getting through, so many master classes and so many, different things involved with earthquaking that I got to step away from some of them. I think it's important to keep a balance in your life. And I spent, Sarah and I talked for years, twice a day, and I didn't talk to anybody else. So I'm talking to other friends of mine that I grew up with and other people just to get that balance back, just to get that, that feeling of normalcy of, so I think it's important to part of self-care is balance, you know, it's easy. Think about earthquaking. You've got, especially you, Stephen, down in the village, everything, 100% of your life, right? Almost is all earthquaking stuff. It's all the same opinions from the same people thinking the same way, from classes, all these things. And you have to, I think it's important that you also remember that there's another world out there also for you to not separate yourself from. If you
I
got a
feel that.
gig, yeah, if you got a gig down somewhere that's not earthquaking, go play that gig. Go get yourself out, and because you've already got so much earthquaking around you anyway, just give yourself a little bit of, hey, let's go look at the rest of the world. Remember what else is out there. Y'all feel that?
Yeah, I feel that,
Yeah.
man. We go down to the beach at least once every 2 weeks. And I make sure personally that I have a day that, like, Mondays are my kind of lazy day. We have a jam session Sunday night and kind of take it easy Mondays. Though this Monday we were at the table for 6 hours, but I feel that, and it took me a minute to find that balance, like between that, because we have all these different master classes going on, and you want to go and support and participate in all these different things, and yeah, it can be draining. You don't realize how much emotional energy is used in those spaces.
Yep.
One, being completely present, especially when it's on a computer. Like I spoke to it last week. Like I have an aversion to computers in this day and age, so it ends up being a little forceful in that, which takes extra energy because you're going up against something, and it takes a little bit of will. So
Mhm.
yeah, I definitely am into that
you feel
self-care.
obligated, right? You know, you feel obligated, right? For some of the stuff, it's like, okay, I need to go do this, and you know, you want to do it, but you're also like, you know, think of all the master classes. If you went to every single one of them, you would not have anything else to do that week.
They're starting to overlap too.
Yeah,
Like we were talking about that this morning at breakfast because Mel's is overlapping with Kirk's. She's going from 5 to 6:30 our time, and Kirk's is at 6 our time. So it's like they're overlapping, and they were having a discussion about it this morning. He's like, "Did you do that on purpose? I feel like you were trying to trigger me by doing that on purpose or something." So yeah, there's Earth Awakening. We're building up our master classes. Everybody is. It's beautiful to see people stepping into their own and allowing others to step.
Yeah. I was gonna say too, I also get drained if I'm on the computer too long. Like I was on this Matthew McConaughey seminar, VIP.
right.
And I was like, my spirit's like, just do it, like do it. I don't know. I was kind of resisting it a little. I was like, no, just do it, just do it. I thought it was gonna be 3 hours, ended up being 7 hours. So, but I kind of see why spirit was telling me to do it. There's I didn't take the course. I can't really take the course. It's too much. That's just too much. But anyway, but it was draining because in the middle, it was just so much talk. Tony Robbins was talking. Dean Graziosi was talking. Well, first it was Matthew McConaughey, and they had a lot of good points. But at some point, my brain was like sensory overload, and I went on the couch and was trying to listen from the couch, and just boom, took a nap in between because even though I wanted to take it all in, I was like, it's sensory overload. I can't do all of it. It was just too much. And then I had to prepare for my master class that night. And then I was really had sensory overload, you know, but I don't know. I feel sometimes I can't be on the computer. It's just like takes the life out of me. Or I can't be, I have to like take pauses in between, like, you know, things like, and just integrate it or process it, you know, like I need, like nature balances me. Like today I did my walk like for an hour, right? So, and I was just like, and I need that. I feel like it grounds me and it balances me, and it's like almost necessary.
It is. You're
Yeah.
a child of nature before you are of the computer.
Was it the spirit or was it Magic Mike that made you join this? That made you join that? Just curious.
Why, you think I have a crush on Matthew McConaughey or something?
No, only you know the answer to that.
No, it was
Who
because
doesn't have a crush on Matthew McConaughey?
Yeah,
Come
I know.
on
I
now.
do too.
I know.
I think my brother does too, because he's
I
the
met
one
the
who's
guy.
like,
You're the one that talks about him
McConaughey.
all
I'm
the time. Every time that he comes up, you do an impression of him.
I did get to meet him in Austin.
all right.
I'm just saying.
Now the
So
truth comes out. Now the
if you
truth
hear
comes
the story of when I met Matthew McConaughey, it's a funny ass story. It really is funny. We're sitting outside a talent agency, and my buddy Mark Monaco is auditioning for a role in a movie in Austin, and McConaughey wasn't there to audition, I'm sure, but he knew the owners or something. And I'm outside smoking a cigarette, texting, and he's standing next to me, and this smoking hot model, like just, you know, gorgeous, long black hair down her butt, walks out just stupid pretty, and we're both watching her walk away, and he looks over at me and goes, "Man, she's kind of hot." And I looked back at him without missing a beat. I went, "That's what I like about them younger girls, man. They keep getting older. I saw the same age." And he started laughing, and he's like, "That's pretty good." It's like, anyway, we talked for about 20, 30 more seconds and let him go.
That was
He's
Matthew.
funny. Yeah, that's my Matthew McConaughey story.
Awesome. Like my Sean Penn story. I have like a Sean Penn story, but anyway, I'm not going to get into that. That's cool. That's
You
awesome.
kind of sounded like him, John. I'll give you.
Yeah, man, you think I wanted to go take the shirts off, play some bongo drums, maybe some hacky sack. You ever want to throw around the hacky sack? I love playing the hacky sack.
Well, I was just going to get back to what John was saying earlier, like, because he was saying that everybody has the same opinions from Earth Waking, but I don't believe that to be true. There's so many different personalities in there and different opinions, and we're all learning from one another. And even though it's a new world, there's a step in the new world while there's a foot in the new world while there's a foot in the old world, right? So it's not complete. So we're just all learning from one another. That's how I feel about it.
It's true, but still all earth waking. You know, maybe I want to listen to a buddy of mine that's an atheist sometime. You know,
Yeah.
or whatever. Just you ever seen the movie not Zombieland, World War Z, where it talked about Israel, right? And he said the guy that he was with was the ninth man. And the rule was if eight people agreed on a subject, it was the duty of the ninth man to disagree. And he was the ninth man. So if all eight of them agreed that it wasn't zombies, it was his duty to say, okay, it could be zombies. I like to have that person in my life. I like to have that one person that's going to pretty much disagree with me on no matter what I say. You know, just to know that, you know, okay, there's somebody else that disagrees, and I can always put that back in my mind, you know.
What's beautiful about that, I've always played that part. My dad, our last conversation to me, he was like, you have answers for everything, and it's not that I have answers for everything, I just have a different perspective for everything, because everything you can see the duality, and actually it's not even duality, there's three parts to it. So you can see the high side, you can see the low side, and then somewhere in the middle of that is the truth. So if you can accept the high side, or not accept, but if you can be fine with either one of those, then you're going to be happy with the truth no matter what, because it's going to lay in the middle, whether you take high side or low side of something. And that's kind of been where like that other perspective has been, and I've loved taking that ninth man approach. What was that from?
World War Z with Brad Pitt, that zombie movie.
Oh, I have to. Is that like a quote or something from that?
Yeah, it was a scene where he was investigating the zombie outbreak, and he went to Israel, and the guy Jerusalem is being invaded by zombies, and they got this giant wall they built up, and the head of state that he was talking to was telling the story about he had to be the ninth man. It was his duty to, if everybody said it wasn't zombies, it was his duty to say it might be zombies.
Okay.
And that's how come they built the wall that was protecting Jerusalem.
All right.
Pretty cool. It's a good movie, man. It's worth watching. Especially since Brad Pitt's in it. Now, I don't like Matthew McConaughey, but I do love me some Brad Pitt, all right? I would sleep with the girl that slept with Brad Pitt just so I could tell people that I slept with a girl that slept with Brad Pitt.
Oh boy. I used to like Rob Lowe. That tells my age.
Rob
Oh,
Lowe.
I love Rob Lowe.
Handsome
Yeah.
man I met.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Said handsomest man I ever met. Met him at Hooters in Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Oh, you met him too? Cool.
Yeah, true story. Hooters in Fayetteville, Arkansas, of all places.
That means you're meant to be a celebrity, John.
No, it's not. That's not what that means at all. It means I just ran into him. That's all. Watching football.
Yeah. You exchange words too?
Hey, like your movies.
Yeah,
That's
fine.
it.
I find though, like, yeah, the crushes I've had, they've come and gone because it was just superficial based on looks. So then my crushes would end, very quickly, because that's really not, I guess, what really appeals to me the most. It's like, there's more depth. There has to be more depth than just somebody's looks.
This is emotional crushes are the ones that hurt the most, man.
Well, I just saw something yesterday about chemistry versus compatibility in that regards, where it's the emotions and stuff along those lines that, you get this chemical charge that can be masked over for a certain amount of time, but eventually that's going to be worn out. If you're compatible with somebody, you have the same, main values and hierarchy, but you can't let that compatibility be clouded by chemistry aspects of our, you know, human nature. So
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
well, it sounds like you got it a while ago because you let your crushes just be gone and didn't let them have you, because there's a lot of people that allow crushes to have them and they worship them, you know, and
Yeah, I've never been like one of these groupies, like, kind of person, like, oh my God, did you see who so and so, so and so? I'm like, yeah, okay, like whatever. I mean, I've also, like John was talking about celebrities. I've met many celebrities. I've run into many celebrities. I lived in New York. I was in the music industry, had conversations with celebrities, and it's just like they're people too, like I can have cool celebrity stories, but in the end, like, I'm not gonna like sleep with somebody because they're a celebrity, right? So like my story was Sean Penn and his friend. Now his friend liked me, Sean Penn liked my girlfriend, I could tell, but we were both hanging out with Sean Penn at the time. And I was in the music industry. I could have very easily been like, here's my CD, give it to your ex-wife, Madonna, whatever, right? But I didn't, but I liked the experience of hanging out with somebody who was in the arts and creative, and it was just like fun, cool story to tell. And in the end, and it was funny because it's not like I was enamored with Sean Penn, it was just like hanging out with him, like sharing a cigarette, whatever, and just shooting the breeze. But at the very end of it, we go to the suite, right? And I kind of knew where it was headed. His friend was like hitting on me, and like I could sense whatever. And I'm like, I'm heading out of here. She wants to come with me, and she was hanging out with him at the end of the night. I'm like, I'm going to get a ticket if I don't move my car. Like they wanted to hang out overnight, take us to a diner, all that. I'm like, no, I'm not going to hang out overnight because I'm not going to sleep in a bed with his friend. I bolted, and I was like, are you coming with me or not? And she's like, okay, I'm coming. But I'm just saying, like, I've never been like, yeah, I can hang out, I can talk, but somebody famous doesn't mean really much to me,
They're just people, man. They're just people.
yep. All right, we're a little over time though. I think we started
Okay.
about 10 minutes late.
Okay, so I know Sarah's class is at 2,
50 minutes.
and I have to do the
That one.
dishes.
That's where you're at, Sophia. Dishes. I would go, but I got dishes to do, man.
Hey, doing dishes is meditation for me. Like I love just being in that moment of washing. I don't know what it is, but there's something meditative about it, having the water hit me. I don't know.
No, it is. It's sometimes, not all the time. Not when you have to do them all the time for me,
See,
but
mine's the broom or the mop because I use it as a mic and I start dancing.
What movie is that from? There's somebody that does that.
the Mike movie? No.
I think it's Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
Yeah. She's like the neighbors peeping in on the sister and she's dancing with the mop. Yeah.
I've actually got a songwriting session. Okay, so
Yeah,
Yeah.
buddy.
Awesome.
got to hook up with one of my songwriting friends later on this afternoon, and she and I decided we're gonna sit there and write a song today. So
That's awesome, man. I'm look forward to hearing that.
sure, we'll see what happens. It may be her damn song, and I don't know. We'll see. You know how this things go. If you ever co-wrote with somebody, it's you sit there, you come up with a riff or an idea, then they add to it, or they come up with one, you add to it, and you start developing it from there. So it's actually a craft. Songwriting, not songwriting itself, but co-writing. Co-writing is its own craft, which is separate from regular songwriting, like writing your own songs. It's its own skill set that you work on.
I think it's fun.
It is good.
Yeah.
It is.
All right, well, I'm gonna call wraps here. Everybody good? Everybody good? Enjoy your songwriting session, John, Sophia. Enjoy the dishes, Sarah. Go sing to a broomstick. And I'll see you in like 50 minutes.
Love you
All
guys.
right.
All right,
See
you guys have a beautiful day, and we'll talk to you here shortly.
See you later, man.
Ciao,
See ya.
guys.
Bye.